So I want to thank all my subscribers so far and everyone who's commented on my videos. I mean, when I started this, I never expected to get this many subscribers. I hope you all continue to enjoy my reviews, and I hope I get to continue making them. I've been working on this for a freaking year now, so I have put quite a bit of thought into this. I wanted to try doing something that I really enjoyed doing and seeing if I can make something out of it. And I hope you guys stick with me through this journey I'm about to take in my life. But to properly get my points across, I wanted to tell you a story. It's my story. What does it take to make your dream project come true? Like many of you, I discovered anime when I was a lot younger, and like a few of you, probably thought it would be a kick-ass thing to make my own one day. But eventually I grew up and reality kicked in. I came to terms with my negative art skills and found other ways to show my passion that would eventually blossom into a career.
Do you know what a YouTube is?
From then on, my relationship with anime changed permanently. This was no longer just a hobby for me. This was my job. But as my career grew, there was still that one unattainable dream I held on to. Even though I'm just a YouTuber, even though I'm just a fan, what if I could make my own anime? I wrote a screenplay, pitched it to a real anime studio in Japan, and got the chance to work with real veterans in the industry to bring my vision into a reality. And the final result was an 18-minute short film, Baan, The Boundaries of Adulthood. But what we rarely get to see behind the screens, behind the story, is what does it take to finish a creative endeavor like this? What is it like to actually be a creator? This isn't a documentary on how anime is made. This is my diary of everything I poured into this one project. My experience, my feelings, my insecurity, everything a creator goes through when making a project like this. Where inspiration comes from, how ideas evolve, just how much you have to sacrifice, and what it's like seeing it all come together. I want to show you guys everything. For the world, it was 18 minutes. But for me, it was 2 years of my life, all to make a little boy's dream come true. This is the story of how I made an anime. As you may or may not know, making an anime was an incredibly expensive venture that I could not do without the help of all of the sponsorships that I've taken on my YouTube channel for the past 2 years, which is why I'm very happy and glad to say that this documentary is sponsored by Displate. Displate offers a wide range of metal posters with vibrant, high-quality prints constructed from durable steel. I actually got to choose some of my favorite ones from their store, and I had a hard time choosing because they have so many different designs from so many different IPs. This includes officially licensed designs from over 200 different brands. For anime, they've got licensed designs from shows like Frieren, Gundam, One Piece, Dan Da Dan, JJK, Fate, and loads more. And if none of those catches your fancy, you also have the option of uploading your own custom designs as well. So you just saw one of the Arcane posters I chose, but I also am a big fan of Elden Ring as well, so of course I was going to get an Elden Ring poster. And I'm also very excited to announce that I've also partnered with Displate, and we are developing some Baan displays as well. It only takes 4 to 5 business days for your posters to arrive once you order them, and when they do arrive, you'll have them hung up in minutes. The magnetic mounting system requires no tools, screws, or nails. That means no damage to your walls, and once the magnets are up, you can swap your posters around in seconds if you want variety. So if you want to check out some cool ass looking posters for yourself, you can check out my discount link in the description, or you can use coupon code Gigguk for 33% off 1 or 2 displays and 38% off if you buy 3 or more. Thank you very much to Displate for sponsoring me today, and with that said, I hope you guys enjoy this documentary. So how does a guy go from making janky anime reviews to moving to Japan to making their own real anime projects? Well, it all started right here in the Trash Taste Office. The messy Trash Taste Office. Jesus Christ, this place is a dump.
Do you remember? I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. Meilyne pops in. She mentioned that Kadokawa had some like excess budget that year or excess like funds that they wanted to maybe put into some experimental animation projects. Meilyne was just pitching us ideas like a Trash Taste anime opening.
We immediately shot down the idea of a Trash Taste anime opening as something a bit cheesy and gimmicky for our brand, but there was something here. Specifically, here.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, it's always been my fucking dream just to make an anime. You know, I heard what was going on and I was like, I think I see an opportunity here.
An opportunity to do something that most anime fans could only ever daydream about. I had no ideas, no experience, no artistic talent to speak of, but I felt like if I let this opportunity slip by, I would never get this chance again. So, I raised my hand. Actually, I want to do something, I said. I want to make an anime short film.
And Meilyne was like, yeah, we can do something. Do you have an idea?
I reply, no.
She was like, okay, if you don't have an idea, you can pitch something.
What's the deadline? I asked. 2.5 months. And right then, I realized there might be a problem.
We were going on tour in America
for 2 months, leaving me with 2 weeks to write a screenplay, having never written a screenplay in my life, about this hypothetical anime with no idea what it was going to be about, to one of the most established anime companies in the industry. No problem, I replied confidently, knowing full well that this sounded like an issue future me would have to deal with. Fuck you, past me. So I needed an idea. Fast. Kadokawa is a juggernaut in the anime space that produces every range of anime you can think of, but if there's one genre they do make, and they make a hell of a lot of, it's isekai. They have some of the most popular, well-known and decorated titles under their umbrella while producing heaps of new ones every year, so I thought, if there was a genre of story that had the highest chance of getting greenlit, it was this. And it was for that reason I chose to make an isekai. And only that reason. Absolutely no other reason regarding my likes and tastes. But if you're not familiar with the world of anime, isekai has a certain reputation I wanted to avoid. I didn't just want to make your standard isekai, I wanted to approach it from a different angle. Isekai is all about getting transported to another world, very often a fantasy world where a character goes on some kind of journey. Maybe it's to defeat a demon lord, maybe they're just out there chilling, or maybe they're just drowning in some hot anime elf pussy. But if there's one aspect of isekai I rarely get to see, it's this idea of when the protagonist gets to come home again. We've had isekai where the protagonist gets to return to their original world, but I hadn't seen something that truly encapsulated that excitement of coming home for the first time after being away from it for so long. And as someone who grew up in multiple different cultures, living in multiple different countries, it was a feeling that I was really familiar with. That was it. That was my angle. Here's the idea. My isekai world would be similar to your typical one, except people can travel freely between them, more akin to traveling a country before commercial flights was such a common commodity. I'd use my experience of what it was like moving to a different country and adjusting to a new culture and try to portray that through the protagonist. I wasn't 100% sure of the journey they'd take, but I did have a concrete idea about the feelings I wanted the ending to portray. And with that in mind, with time running out, all I could really do was just sit down and write. And that's what I did. No plan, I just locked myself in a room for 2 weeks and tried to put all my feelings on paper that could be crafted into a story. And this is it, my very first screenplay. Untitled anime isekai short film. 2 weeks of my blood, sweat, and tears poured into this. And it sucked. Because of course it did. I had no idea how to write a screenplay, I had no idea what I was doing, and I couldn't learn that in 2 weeks. It was about this guy, and he was called Dai because I was looking for a 3-letter name because I really wanted a short name, as I would be typing that name out multiple times on the screenplay, and that name popped up in a name generator that had apparently Japanese and Welsh origins. So, cool. I went with it.
This just means two in Welsh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It means big in Japanese.
Yeah.
So Dai moves to this fantasy world and has a hard time adjusting to life there. Then he finds out his mum died and he comes back home to realize that home is never going to be the same again. It was a mess. It barely had any structure, it had unlikable characters, and I was so engrossed in crafting this emotional scene that I forgot I had to write a competent story around it. Unsurprisingly, I never heard back from Kadokawa, but even though I'd written complete garbage my first time, I had a lot of fun.
Were you proud of it at the time?
At the time, I was definitely proud of it. I still really liked the ending scene of it. Back then I just didn't realize how bad the lead up to the ending was. Thank you very much for taking the time to come here today. Been a big fan for all your work, so I wanted to personally say thank you. So I was filming a video where I interviewed the author of Vinland Saga. So this was set up by Twin Engine, who are the production company behind anime like Dororo, Hell's Paradise, Shikinoko, and of course, Vinland Saga Season 2. So I was just having a casual conversation behind the scenes with some of the staff members, and I offhandedly mentioned that it would be cool to make an anime short film one day, and by complete coincidence, there was a producer there who heard me. And then they asked me,
ほほう、いい提案はあるのかね?
Oh, I don't just have an idea. I actually already have an entire screenplay.
素晴らしい。ちょっと見させていただいても構わないのかね?
So actually there are a few revisions I need to do before I'm ready to submit it. And by revisions, I actually meant rewriting the entire thing from scratch.
その場合、年末までに提出する必要がありますが、よろしいですかね?
No problem, I replied confidently. I fucking hate you past me. That's fine though, plenty of time. It was not like I was in the middle of one of the busiest years of my life or anything. And of course, I had 2 months in Europe lined up for another tour. But this time, I'd learned from my past mistakes. Every free moment I had on tour, I was just reading screenplays. Screenplays of movies I liked, screenplays of different shows, screenplays of anime even. I was just trying to absorb as much information as I could. I watched YouTube tutorials on writing, creating characters, world building. I was going to plan every single story beat before I put a single word on paper. But most importantly, there was one big change that would infinitely increase the chances of this particular project being greenlit. All the research I did led me to one conclusion. I think this needs a cute anime girl in it. So I added a new character. Her name was going to be Rin. Why Rin? I don't know, something about the name Rin just appealed to me. I couldn't exactly tell you what it is. I just think Rin is a beautiful and simple name. There's no deeper meaning about it. There's no deeper meaning. I didn't think too deeply about it. I just went with how I felt. And at that exact moment, it just felt right.
I was also looking for another 3-letter name.
And because you love Tosaka Nin, right?
How the fuck did you know?
I would keep Dai, but now, what if I tell a dual story? A human moving to a fantasy world and a being from a fantasy world moving to Earth. I could juxtapose their different experiences and they would both find different personal answers. Dai would find his home in the place he moved to, and Rin would realize that the place she feels most at home is where she came from. But I'd need their stories to intersect in the middle, somehow. But how? Wait, my parents basically mirrored Dai's story. They moved to England and built their new life there where they had me. What if they're related? Dai is the father and Rin is actually mirroring the journey her dad took when he was her age. Bingo. So I had the story idea mapped out and all that was left to do was just write. And this was going to have to be during the Christmas period. It was so far out when I got the deadline that I knew Christmas was going to be the only time I could do anything about this project. This wasn't the first Christmas that we didn't spend with family, but this definitely was the first Christmas that I barely got to see Sydney. And she barely got to see me either.
I did not see Garnt a lot that Christmas holiday. A lot of it, if I really wanted to be by him, I just kind of like started reading manga next to him on the floor when he was writing, and I just wouldn't talk to him. I'd just be in the same vicinity of him, and honestly, that was enough.
The only thing that kept me from burning out was the fact that I just enjoyed every little bit of this process.
When you see your partner feel like that, you don't really feel anything like besides you just want to support them.
She's just an amazing wife, an amazing person. I couldn't have asked for someone more supportive because she said, this is your dream. I can sacrifice this one Christmas if you shoot for your dreams. And this is the result of all that. Untitled Isekai project. This is technically a V3. I made it in time, just about, and I submitted it. And then I waited. And I waited. And I waited a little more. And then I thought, you know, some things just aren't meant to be. And that's okay. And then they called me in for a meeting. So I have just gotten out of a very long meeting with Twin Engine, and they told me, yes, it's really happening. I'm actually making my own anime. Baan เหรอ บ้านอยู่ไหนเหรอ
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ
So this is actually the temple that I became a monk at when I was a kid. I remember going in every morning. I'd do my prayers here, meditate here, and it's surreal being back because it looks exactly how like I remember it. Home has always been such a weird concept for me because I don't think I've truly ever felt attached to one single place or had a country I really called my home. I have always kind of just drifted from one place to another, kind of like trying to find my home in every place I go to. I have a Thai mum and dad, and I was born and raised in England, but I was the only Asian kid in the area I grew up in, and even though I had friends, I had a happy childhood, some part of me always still felt like an outsider.
ขอบคุณมากครับวันนี้
But then when I go to Thailand, I also couldn't shake this feeling of being out of place. เพราะว่าถ้าเราพูดภาษาไทย คนไทยจะรู้ทันทีเลยว่าเราไม่ได้เติบโตที่เมืองไทย ปกติคนจะคิดว่าเราเป็นลูกครึ่งหรือเราเป็นคนต่างชาติที่พูดไทยได้นิดหน่อย And that's why I think I rarely speak Thai when I'm on camera.
เป็นมีแม่กับพ่อคนไทยแต่ว่าเกิดที่อังกฤษครับ and
Because deep down, I know I'm secretly scared of being judged by any Thai person watching it. Maybe not completely consciously, but I don't know.
I think I said that in a Thai accent kind of.
Something about that scares me because I still feel a really close connection to the country.
What is Thai culture to you?
Thai culture, aside from the music or the Muay Thai or anything else the cameras see, Thai culture to me is going to visit your grandma and she cooks way too much food for you and she constantly asks you to eat. And so do all your aunties and uncles. No matter how full you are, no matter what you're feeling, whether you've eaten or not, they will just always tell you, just eat a little bit more. If there was a part of myself that felt like I was at home, it's not necessarily a place, but it's the memories I have of that time and spending time with my family and the people I really care about. So I'm at Studio Daisy right now and I'm about to meet the director and have my first meeting. I'm pretty nervous, but let's see how this goes. はじめまして。よろしくお願いします。
今回アニメーションプロデューサーを務めさせていただきました吉原杏奈と申します。プロデューサーと言いつつ、うちは制作チームがすごく人数が少ないので、何でもやる人みたいな感じで今回は働いてました。
今回監督をしました大橋と申します。大橋義光と申します。監督もやり、コンテを書き演出もやり、それから原画も書いてます。 いろいろやってます。
Now, I was nervous as hell walking into some of these early meetings because here were some veterans that had worked in the anime industry for years.
YouTuber さんからの依頼は私350万サブスクライブある方初めてお会いしたのでちょっとすごいなって思いました。私たち日本人が作ったものを外に発信してくださるっていう。
変な話ですけど僕外人で聞いたので普通にこうヨーロッパの人が来るのかなと思ってたのでまあプロフィール聞いてなるほどと思って逆にこうどんな人なんだろうっていうのが興味湧きました。
なんかすごい人が来るかもしれないと思いながら当日お待ちしてた記憶なんですけど、ね、実際来ていただいた時はなんかもう本当にものすごく穏やかな方というかですごくアニメにリスペクトのある方なんだなっていうのが話してて伝わって、
ガントさんの第一印象はすごいシャイな方だなって思いました最初は。だけど一緒にいろいろプロットの会議をしていく中ですごい熱い思いがある人なんだなっていうのが本当に伝わってきて毎会議って思ってました。
大きい大きいっていうのとあとはものすごく緊張してると思ってなんか本当に多分そういう意味でもアニメが好きなんだなって思ったのが私は結構第一印象です。
Through the process of the director and the producer and the writer asked me questions about my intentions, why I wanted to tell this story, what I wanted to say through these characters, it kind of made me realize exactly why I wrote this in the first place and what part of me I really wanted to put into it. I really want to hit home the theme of either finding a home or coming home. So it's more of like a homecoming kind of series. And they came back with my script and they said, this is actually going to be about a 30 to 40 minute short film. You have the budget for half of that. It was honestly a blessing in disguise because I think it just gave me the opportunity to add a little bit more of myself into the story that I didn't even knew I wanted to until I started rewriting it.
お家っていう自分の家がどこなのかっていうのは初行からずっとあるなってすごく感じていて、それは絶対なくさないようにしようっていうのはすごく思ってましたね。
I think being at home is finding a good group of friends, good group of people that you connect with, and sometimes you don't connect with the culture, and the culture to me is people. Part of the big reason why I chose to make home Euthania was because I didn't want the concept of home to be tied down to one singular country. Euthania to me was always a kind of place that could be anywhere, that anyone could relate to. One thing I will ask for is I like to stay away from Western kind of architecture. I think it would be cool to have more Eastern architecture as buildings.
Does it have something to do with that you're from Southeast Asia?
It also has something to do with just, I've seen a lot of this kind of architecture design in a lot of isekai and fantasy worlds. So originally, this world of Euthania, this fantasy world, was more akin to your typical Tolkien-esque fantasy world or your typical isekai world. I had 2 weeks to write this. I did not have enough time to do some proper world building. I didn't mention this before, but Rin was actually an elf girl. Why an elf? I don't know. I think I was just going through an elf phase that year and I couldn't really tell you why.
Does it need to be an elf?
No, it doesn't.
ユウさんに人であれば、その見た目でわかるっていうところですね。
Maybe not an elf. I'll have to look into, I think, East Asian mythology then to see what kind of creatures and people they have.
Thankfully, because of this process, I was like, actually, I want to completely pivot and do something different that I haven't personally seen, but I think would be pretty fucking cool. I want to make a world that revolves around Southeast Asian mythology.
自分自身も今までのキャリアの中でそんなにアジアを舞台にするってことはなかったので、 なんかそういうテイストの作品作るっていうこと自体はすごく興味を持ちましたね。
I want it to be Thai influence. I don't want it to be like directly Thai because it's still another world in that sense. I guess on the topic of the world, the monsters and everything, I found some things that I think have potential. That is yak, which just kind of means giant in Thai. I think this is the most equivalent to an oni, like a Japanese oni, and Garuda. A lot of Southeast Asia and Thailand in general have a lot of interpretations of that.
Why was dragons around the buildings?
A lot of the temples, it's to do with like Thai mythology. I guess the English name is Naga. There was one creature that kept popping up everywhere, the Naga. A divine serpent creature that can sometimes take human form, but each country has its own interpretation of it. In Thailand, our version of it, we refer to it as Payanag, and if you go to any Thai temple, you'll probably have a good chance to see some kind of statue depicting it. We're at a temple that has a lot of blessings towards the Naga. The Naga is actually kind of a national symbol of Thailand. Anytime we go to any temples, it might not be this extravagant, but you're probably going to see a Naga somewhere.
Since we're basing this on like Southeast Asian mythology, I think the Naga has like the best potential to be like the godlike entity.
So we had a few mock-ups for what the Naga was going to look like.
He was thinking like maybe the monster should be terrifying, but terrifying in a homely way is maybe the direction we would like it to have.
But I did not want it to feel oppressive.
It should give off the feeling of like something that's like a higher being and intimidating, but not so much threatening.
It was so weird. As soon as we agreed that the Naga was going to be a part of the world, it was almost like the world just started forming around it. The Naga in the Thai version can actually control the flow of water and the flow of rain. It is a water serpent first and foremost.
Since the village is a farming village, water should be a very important aspect in the village protection. Apparently the groundwater is seeping out from the dragon's lair, so the dragon is also seen as a god representing water or something, and every 100 years the water completely dries up the area, and that's a sign that the dragon is being at its weakest.
We had a relationship form between the local inhabitants and the creature. We had a culture form, the landscape changed, just everything just started to fit into place.
So we're going to be looking at finding where the most important parts are and then add on to it and then start carving out the other parts.
Okay. Well, to me, the most important scenes are probably the ending scenes, because that's when the feeling of coming home and, you know, that warm feeling that's where I put most of my focus on. Everything else is kind of just leading up to that moment. Through this entire process, there was still one thing we could not figure out. How were we actually going to end this anime? The original ending, I think, had Rin and Dai come back and reunite, and they had this tearful reunion, and a lot of this ending hinged on this conversation that they were going to have, where they kind of reflect on the journeys they both took and what their realization was about where their home was.
一体何分になってるのかがわからないですけど。
How many minutes it would take for us to just do that scene?
One thing that I learned from Ohashi-san is that since we were trying to cut out as much screen time as possible, dialogue takes a lot of time.
会話とか間が欲しいとどうしても絶対的にそこで時間が流れてしまうので。
It's actually a lot harder when I'm looking at a computer screen. I like having physical post-it notes in front of me, but since I'm working with Hosaka-san, we need a document that she can see as well. The real challenge we had to go through was, how do I portray the feeling and excitement of coming home visually? Maybe there's a way she can realize it by herself without someone specifically telling her. It's basically the same ending as the original script. I do really like the idea of someone Euthanian who found a home in Japan. It's her first meal with someone else from Euthania, and that's what makes her realize she really misses home. We could not figure it out. No matter how many times we reworked things, no matter how many times we changed someone's story, she has a conversation with her dad for the first time. That means the last scene, we can focus more on the visual climax of it rather than her having another conversation with her dad when she gets home.
そのリンちゃんのキャラクター像みたいなお話でちょっと難航してた時期に本当に間に合わないかもしれないって。
I was starting to accept that I was probably going to have a compromised vision of the ending. We were behind schedule, we couldn't figure it out, and I didn't know where to turn to for inspiration. Every so often, my mum would send me videos about everything Thailand, especially during the making of this project. And one of those videos happened to be the Manora dance. Now, this is a traditional Thai dance whose origins base back to an old Thai folktale about a Kinara of the same name. Now, the Kinara or Kinari are basically these half-bird, half-human-like creatures in Thai mythology. And I don't think I knew it then, but I think just seeing this video as I was so engrossed in trying to figure out a direction for this story, my subconscious mind just told me the answer. Because I don't normally dream, but that night I had the most vivid dream.
I think it must have been like 4 or 5 a.m. because the sun was kind of out, peeking a bit, but not really. He just shook me awake saying, "Darling, darling," and I'm freaking out because I'm thinking like, okay, something bad has happened. You know, we don't really wake each other up unless something important has happened. And then he said to me, "I just figured out the ending of the," and I'm just sitting here like half awake, like, what? He's like, "Yeah, I just dreamt it." And then all he said to me is, "She's gotta fly."
多分そのエルフってやってしまうとやっぱり普通に行くとやっぱりこうヨーロッパ的な文化の妖精が出てきたりとかそっちになってしまうので、まあそういった意味では気に習って僕とは馴染みがなかったんですけど、でもまあある意味違う星のそういう人たちっていうくくりで。
Rin was no longer going to be an elf girl. She was going to be a Kinari. Initially, I wanted Rin to have completely physical wings and, you know, go full on with the half-human, half-bird concepts. But I think keeping the NG wings was enough.
物理的な羽って結構行動制限するので、これ例えば座ると物理的な羽だと当たってじゃあ羽がどうなるとか。
So up until this point, these characters were just words on a page. And now that we had finalized the ending, the entire storyline, it was time to pick a character design.
以前お話しした通りで今回は出してもらってるこれが完全に今回のキャラクターデザインになりますっていうわけではなくて、どの方にお願いをするかを決めるっていうコンペなのでこの方向性にしたいです。
So I have just been given a bunch of character designs by Studio Daisy and I'm about to go through them.
I got sent 4 different designs from 4 different character designers, all of their own interpretations of Rin and Dai.
I'm actually really nervous for some reason, but all right, let's see. All right, let's start with A. Oh, wow. Okay, so we have Rin, age 8, Rin, age 21, Dai, age 21, and Dai, 36. Damn, is that a zaddy right there?
This really set the standard because goddamn do I love this art style. First of all, Rin very much reminded me of some of the designs from Oh My Goddess, especially this drawing in the middle right here. But I just thought I wanted a little bit more of a grounded story. I wanted something that felt a little bit more down to earth. I mean, look at Daichi, man. He looks a little bit too heroic, and that wasn't the energy I was going for with Daichi. I do think A has a really cool design and cool aesthetic. I'm not sure if it would work as well for the atmosphere I'm going for.
Okay, let's see option B. We got one for Dai and we got one for Rin. Ooh, I like that. I like her expression. Oh, I really like her expressions. Oh, she looks so cute as a kid. Okay. Oh my god, she looks adorable.
Looking at Rin's face, especially looking at Rin's smile, especially when she was younger, it just filled me with such joy. And that was the exact kind of joy that I was hoping Rin would exude.
I'm a huge fan of Rin's character design right here.
I like the vibe she gives off, and the character design is simple, but you can easily recognizable, and I just like the feeling of this very much.
Let's have a look at Dai's character design from the same artist. Okay, I like this one as well. He doesn't look as cool as the first artist. Dai here looks a little bit more stoic.
My only issue with Dai's character designs as it is again, he looks too heroic. He looks a little bit too much like a protagonist, where I kind of wanted Dai to be a little bit more plain. I had the approach with him that I wanted him to have as plain of a character design as possible at the start of his journey. I wanted to imply the journey that he went through the difference in character designs between how much more personality he seems to have when he's older as opposed to when he's younger.
They have definitely taken a lot of inspiration from Southeast Asian clothing right here.
The clothing, most of all, was something that just stood out to me. It just gave me that Thai kind of like inspired vibe that I hadn't really seen before in any other anime shows.
I've got such a big smile on my face, man. Seeing all these characters come to life. Oh. Ooh, this artist has given me a lot.
I had a vague idea of what Rin was going to look like, but something that's more important than having an aesthetic that I like or having a character design that I like is what I wanted to do was make sure that the character design matched Rin's personality, matched Rin's energy.
Rin. Okay. Oh, she's really adorable as well.
They gave me plenty to pick from in both Rin's older form and Rin's younger form. I just saw this and I just could not help but smile, man.
Oh, the pout face, her happy face as well. Oh, this brings such a smile to my face, man. Oh my god.
I really loved the innocent look that they gave her, while also giving a little bit of personality as well. This Rin pouty face. God damn, I love pouty faces.
Okay, so we've gone with more of the fairy wings for this edition of Rin.
It wasn't kind of the wings I was imagining a Kinara to have.
Ohashi-san really wants to give her not physical wings, but magical wings. So this very much plays into that. But in terms of just her art and her facial expressions, immaculate. Dai, okay, this is more how I envisioned a normal person to look, which is how I imagined Dai to be like before he moved on to this other world and found the home that he wanted to settle in.
This was perfect for younger Dai, but I was concerned with how he would look as a father.
Last one. Oh, she looks good. In this one, like more than everyone, she does give off like a daughter vibe.
I love this design so much. Again, there is not a single bad design in here. You had no idea how hard it was to pick one design out of all of these.
I love the creative decision to incorporate a little bit of her wings on her head.
Right here, I see they've captured Rin's innocence perfectly, but in her older design, her emotions are a little bit more subdued. I imagined her to be a little bit more expressive.
Okay, let's see Dai. Oh, okay. Oh, that's my man. That's Dai right there.
I like how he seems a little bit more normal, not super heroic, but you can see from when he's 21 to 36, there's a warmthness that you can see that he's gotten from being more comfortable in Euthania. It's so subtle, the way that you can see his character change from when he's 21 years old and when he's 36 years old. I love how just by character design alone, you could see how much more comfortable he is with himself when he gets older. This is incredible.
Ohashi-san is already capable of doing anything for any kind of character you pick, so it's like all up to you.
Okay, all right, that was everything. This is going to be hard. I'm going to have to think about this, and I'll take my decision to the next meeting. This is one of the hardest decisions I've had to make in my career, I think. But every one of these has been amazing. I'm thinking too much because it's such a hard decision. So now that we had a more concrete character design, we really needed to finalize their names, and Rin and Dai were, in my head, always meant to be placeholder names. As I said, they were just short names that I chose because I didn't want to type out a long name every time I typed out their name. So we had a long meeting where we would discuss what their names were going to be, their full names. And eventually we were so attached to these names that we still wanted Rin and Dai to be there somewhere. I've had friends who have adopted pets that have told me something similar, where they refer to them as a name with the intention of one day changing it. And then when the time actually comes, they just can't. That name is them, and they can't imagine any other name but them. And that's what I felt about Rin. That's Rin. I can't call her anything else but Rin. She's Rin. Actually, now that I had taken so much inspiration from Southeast Asia, from my home country, I wanted to give her a Thai-inspired name. Normally we have a very, very long full name. Actually, my name is very short for a Thai name. In Thai culture, the longer the name, the more prestigious it is. So I went with Grungtep Mahanakon Amon Ratna Gosin Mahintara Yutaya Mahadiro Popnop Rattajatani Buridom Budom Najani Wet Mahasatan Amon Piman Awatan State Sakatatia Wisnu Gamtasit, which just means a girl that brings joy. We went with Daichi Arai for Dai.
Arai-san desu.
Arai-san. Arai Daichi. And Rinrada Rakchamani, which is actually a combination of my mum and dad's family name. And then once we decided on the names and we locked it in, there was just this weird moment in the meeting where we all just sat down and it just all suddenly started to feel real. They suddenly started to feel real. And it was something that I never thought was going to happen, because in my mind, I'm like, a name is just a name. It doesn't matter. These characters are here to tell a certain story, have a certain journey. But then as soon as we started to name them, as soon as their names were finalized, there was so much about their character that suddenly just bubbled up. So many aspects of their lives that we didn't really think about until their names were there. Like, for example, Daichi Arai or Arai Daichi. Because his name begins with the A sound, he's probably going to be at the front of the assembly line when he's in school. So we didn't really think about that, but now that we knew that, there was this moment in the meeting where we started to stand up and think, how would he stand if he's at the front of the line? He'd probably stand like this, or he'd probably stand like that, because the teachers are watching and he needs to stand in a certain pose so he doesn't get scolded or anything like that. And it was a part of so much of their character came out that I didn't know was going to happen until that moment, and it was just fucking magical. That's so interesting how we're finding so much about his backstory from just his name alone, right?
Do you like Rin and Dai?
I probably forget Daichi even existed when he was in his younger self, but older Daichi is chill, man. He's just someone who, I don't know, he has a simple way of showing his affection, but he doesn't want to outwardly show it. He's never too forward about it. But the way he can show his love and the way he can show his affection in just very subtle ways, I think It's kind of adorable actually for for someone that's older than me. Rin is a fucking mess, and she is very naive. She goes with her gut feelings without thinking about it too much. And honestly, I probably wouldn't hang out with Rin if she was a real person. But also she's my baby, and I knew that she has to learn a lesson in her own way, through her own journey. And at some point you just got to trust them to be able to learn themselves. God, I'm talking about them like real people.
So I don't know if this is going to go in the documentary or not. I'm not sure, but I think I've made my decision. I mean, I've been looking through all of these designs for quite a while now, and I just keep coming back to this one. I just seeing this design, seeing her aura, her air. This is Rin.
A lot of my parents' story was inspiration for the story that I wrote, and every aspect of this project just reminded me of what I was going through at that time. And aside from just having to make myself look professional, make everyone seem like everything was going well, or everyone seemed like I was able to manage everything just fine and just perfect, because I wanted to get it right. I needed to get it right. This is my dream. This is my dream vision. This is so many aspects of my life, so many aspects of my parents' life, my experience being put into this thing. And there was this point where we didn't know what was going to happen next. I almost cried seeing this earlier because I was like, that's Rin. I really liked the original character design I was given, but there were just aspects of it that did not match up to Rin's character. She was a little bit older than how I envisioned. She had a little bit more maturity to her in her features. But one thing I learned is that you can easily change the feeling of the age of a character by, I think it was changing either the size of the head or the head to body ratio. And it was so weird because there was this moment in the meeting where they literally did it live, and something in your brain is just like, oh my god, she's just aged like 2 to 5 years.
There's not much difference apart from the ratio, but I'm like, yes. Yeah, that's a woman, teenager.
There were so many aspects to her character design that I took for granted that play a huge role in her personality.
I'm sorry.
We quickly had to move to the next phase of the project. A lot of things were discussed at the same time. I didn't do any clothing, but I would like to keep it simple. Oh, I love the overcoat. I love this one.
I like the contrast between the straight and just a little bit poking out.
More basic, or is this good?
I think that's about good. Damn, I'm just realizing that was my old haircut.
I will have a think about the English title then. If there are any suggestions for like something that could work for Japanese, I'm open to suggestions as well. I think the title should have something to do with home. What about a light novel title? I moved to another world, but I couldn't find my real home, so I moved back.
ちなみにだけど、タイ語で家ってなんてそうなの
How would you pronounce the house in Thai?
Baan. Yeah. I don't think I've made so many decisions in my life. I would come out of these meetings completely drained from just decision fatigue. Working with people who are very, very decorated in the industry, working with so many veterans, so many people who have talents that I will never have, and having to communicate what I think is best for my vision, I just felt like, should I be here? Do I even deserve to be here?
There'd be times I missed him. There'd be times where I'd be in the same house and it'd feel like I haven't seen him in months because he'd be working so much on this during meetings, fixing his script, you know, and sometimes, you know, even when he wasn't doing that, he had to travel a lot. And that was hard.
I wanted to ask if it's okay if I recommend certain staff members, or I have a composer in mind. The only big staff member missing at this point was the composer. And if you're familiar with my YouTube work, you know that music is a massive aspect in everything that I make. So for this project, I didn't want the music to just be good. I wanted it to embody the soul of the project. And those were some big shoes to fill. Luckily though, I knew a guy, or should I say, a mate.
My name is Kevin Penkin and I am the composer for Baan.
I remember the first time I watched Made in Abyss and just seeing that sunrise scene. Didn't know who composed it. I didn't even know that he wasn't Japanese at the time. But that scene made such a deep impression on me because it was a scene that just allowed Kevin's music to speak for itself. And there are moments in this where I just wanted to achieve that same feeling of just let Kevin's music do the talking.
It's very cool.
It was late night in a bar in Melbourne. It was almost like he was proposing. It was so weird. Like in such a lovely way, but it's just like, you know, I'm doing this thing. I'm making an anime, I'm making an isekai anime. Would you? And then before he could even ask, I was just like, yes. Like, yes, I'll do it. No problem. Done. Easy.
So we get Kevin on, and he is very, very enthusiastic. And he comes on, and he's all like, all right, I'm gonna send you some rough ideas to try and get a feel of this project. And I was thinking, okay, it's gonna be some simple instrumentals or just some simple melodies so Kevin knows if he's going in the right directions. And I remember this moment when he sends me his very, very early ideas, and I just think, this is your rough drafts? This is insane.
I think Garnt will remember this, but I initially did write some demos that were way, way bigger in scale than what the final sound ended up being. It was very sort of like, you know, British Garden, sort of, you know, almost Downton Abbey, sort of grandiose in terms of this kind of sweeping fields and things like that. And that was just straight up the wrong approach. And Garnt very fairly called me out on that one. I was like, yeah, okay, I see that now. So I just had to go really back to basics and like just, you know, piano, a couple of pads maybe, and maybe, I don't know, just like a solo instrument, just doing a melody and try and start from there. And then figure out how that would be able to be expanded upon in the correct way.
そういうなんか壮大なその物語ではなくて、すごくパーソナルなお話なので、アコースティックな楽器でもそのフルオーケストラでジャーンって鳴らすような曲だとちょっとトゥーマッチになるかなっていう なのでもっとパーソナルな感じが欲しい。なので
So knowing that Garnt was going to put in a significant amount of reference to Thailand meant that I needed to study up pretty hard because I wasn't overly familiar with a lot of the instruments from Thailand at the time. I knew a couple, but not enough.
I heard you bought also like the Thai bamboo flute as well. Is that right? Or...
You mean this thing?
Oh, yes.
Garnt gave me just a huge list of all the instruments that I could potentially use. And yeah, it was like 14 different instruments. It wasn't about using all of them. It was just about trying to find a couple that really kind of would work within the sort of wider context of the score. We figured out that the Kyee and then also the can would just be so perfect for both a aesthetic sort of reference and also a featured sort of instrument as well. Things like that would really influence the score.
I got your back, and yeah, just keep this feedback coming, man. Just be honest. If you're not digging it, just tell me.
Even though it was a self-funded project, I still felt like there were so many things outside of my control. Like, if we made a decision, I couldn't come back and change it after the fact. We would need to stick with that decision.
Fits the theme and fits the feeling.
And this is totally different from YouTube, for example, where I can film something, and if I'm not happy with it, then I can either just refilm it or ask Alain to edit it in a way, or I can just edit it myself. I have so much freedom in what I can do.
The parallel here is that everything that I've done for Garnt, I am doing something that he has done himself previously. This project, Baan, is such a new experience for him because he is having to give feedback and instruct people on things that he himself has never done before.
Have you ever seen or done storyboards before?
Never. I've seen storyboards, but only from documentaries and filming it myself. So I've never been involved in the process of making it. Like, I remember getting the storyboards.
I know I should probably wait till tomorrow to go through this, but I got it and I'm too fucking nervous to go to sleep. So I want to go through this now. I'm very nervous, but I'm very, very excited at the same time. So I'm gonna go through it now.
I was trying to stay positive, trying to hey, this is cool. This is a happy moment. But deep down inside, when I got to the ending, I didn't feel the emotions that I thought I would feel.
So that was the first look into this short film.
And that scared me because I just thought to myself, if I wasn't feeling emotional, how was anyone else going to feel emotional?
In the original screenplay, I imagined before Rin taking flight, she would be running. She would be slowly running, a little bit like 1 and 2 steps at first, and slowly get faster and faster and faster. Kind of like this feeling of being free again, being back at home. I thought that scene would be a little bit longer, just to really emphasize that feeling.
To me, that was such an important part of the climax, of the emotional build-up for that climax.
懐かしいので、ちょっとその余韻に浸るぐらいはあるけど、でも彼らは飛べるので、だったらもうすぐ飛んで帰りっていうところで。
This was one of the few times that I actually put my foot down and I was like, no, this is going to be in this anime, and I wanted it exactly the way I thought it was going to be. I didn't just tell Ohashi-san verbally, I actually wrote down step by step in screenplay format exactly how I wanted the scene to play out. Without having seen the final product and without having seen what the final thing was going to look like, I really had to learn how to put my trust in other people who knew more than me. And that terrified me. Let's take the Naga design, for example. My first reaction to seeing this design was, oh my god, this looks amazing. My second reaction to this was, oh my god, how are they going to animate this?
最初は3D の予定ではなかったんですね。手書きでいこうって話をしてたんですけど、デザインもらった時にこれは
What approach are we going to use to animate the Naga? Is it going to be too busy? And most importantly, can you even make this look good in animation? And then right in the middle of this important period, right in the middle of working on this dream project, I got some news that kind of just made everything feel irrelevant.
So I'm currently in Thailand, as you can see from my background, for an unplanned trip because my mum has got to have some emergency surgery because they did a health checkup and they found a tumor on her kidney. The doctors think that there's a high chance that it's cancer.
So I don't even know how to begin to describe what I was feeling at that time. Obviously, it was a shock to hear the news. It came out of nowhere, as things like this sometimes do. And I'm not great at talking about my emotions. I'm not great at telling people about my problems. So not a lot of people knew, actually. I told Connor, I told Joey, I told some of my close friends, but in terms of like the anime team and most people I was working with, no one really knew the severity of what I was going through. And on the surface, I think I was pretty good at hiding it, but I think I deal with these types of situations in my own way, and I think one of my ways of coping with it was just trying to keep myself occupied and trying to keep myself busy, because I was afraid that if I had a moment to really think about and comprehend what my family was dealing with at that time, I think I would have just had a hard time and just shut down maybe.
It seemed like his response to that was to be as productive as possible and do everything he could to maintain a sense of control in the things that he was doing. Difficult to gauge exactly how he was feeling at the time.
When your own family is facing a health scare, it's scary. Like, you know, I love his parents. They're like my own parents to me. But to see Garnt be so scared like that was almost scary for me, because I've never seen him like that before.
My mum, like a lot of Southeast Asian mums, finds their own way of showing love. Part of a big way that my mum shows love is she shows her love in her cooking. Every time I'd go back home, she would cook for me, and she'd always force me to eat as much as I can. Come on, you know, you're looking a bit thin, eat some more. Oh, you're looking like you're a bit tired, eat some more. And I think it was my mum's way of showing love. And I remember this one trip, she was sitting down and she was still doing well. This was before she had to go through surgery, and she cooked me a meal. And she told me, I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cook for you for much longer. And I didn't know what to say back. Yeah, it definitely affected my view of the project. It was almost like a switch. It just took one day, and then I went from seeing everything great about the work we have done, everything great about what this could potentially turn into, and then suddenly I saw all my fears and anxieties coming into fruition, and for some reason I just could not unsee it. I started second guessing every decision I'd made, and I just wasn't sure anymore. I get Kevin's first draft of the final song, the climax song of this entire short, and this was something I was super pumped for. And then after listening to the visual storyboards, it just did not hit me like I thought it would. Right now, I don't think there's enough build up, because I can hear the potential.
The scene is emotional, and I was just too happy, to be honest. So I saw Garnt's point of view straight away. Even though the director was happy with the first draft, I also felt that, you know, even though the song was more banger-esque in nature, we needed something with a little bit more emotional gravitas, and I agreed with that perspective. And we just needed to get the director on side, and the best person to do that was Garnt, not me.
I'm getting a little worried. Not that I don't think that Kevin can produce something really, really good. I think in this meeting, myself and Studio Daisy had a little bit of a different vision with exactly how the ending song should play out, exactly how the climax should play out.
My definition of a good collaboration is trust. And so, you know, I trust Garnt to tell me when it doesn't work, and hopefully, and I believe he does, trust me to just be there by his side, in his corner, batting for him.
I just have this nagging thought sometimes where I would think, what if this is not as good as I think it is? What if this is not as good as it is in my head? And to be clear, I never thought that anyone on the team was doing a bad job at all. In fact, it was quite the opposite. There were so many talented people working on this project, so many people who are way more experienced than me, and I could see how great of a job that they were doing. I was scared that I was the problem. I was scared that I was out my depth. What if there was a choice I made at the end of a 4-hour meeting that turned out to actually be bad? What if I was pushing through my own personal tastes that weren't actually the best for this project? And I think all these thoughts were just my own self trying to drown out this thought of, what if my family doesn't get to see this? And that was a thought I didn't want to hear. And I feel really bad looking back, because I feel like I didn't have the trust in the team that I should have, even though I knew that everyone was so capable, and it was my own demons that I was fighting with. And I didn't recognize that at the time. And it kind of continued that way until the actual day of the surgery. We heard the news, and it was good news. And it's just like that. After the doctor just confirmed that one line, it was almost like every worry, every anxiety, the heavy air just immediately washed away. And it was like we all had our lives back at that moment.
อร่อยไหมคะฝีมือแม่เหมือนเดิมไหมลูกเหมือนเดิมตอนหนูเด็กๆหรือเปล่าคะพวกแม่ไม่ได้ทำมานานมากอร่อยจริงนะครับอย่าหลอกนะครับไม่หลอกอร่อยมากครับ
Anime Expo, you're
on AX Light, so stay tuned, everyone.
If you've never been to Anime Expo, it legitimately gets fucking crazy.
It's the home crowd. It's Anime Expo. I have nothing to be worried about. It's just different because this is me. This is me. I'm about to show off there on stage. That's fucking terrifying. My family have never had a bigger sigh of relief than when we got the news that the surgery went well and she was clear of cancer. We still had a long road to go. She still had a long road of recovery. But I remember telling her, แม่ทำไมดูแลตัวเองนะแล้วก็ไม่พักผ่อนเดี๋ยวจะไม่เจอน้องรินนะ
Everything luckily turning out all right, being the best case scenario that it could be. I think for seeing him go through that and then suddenly be someone so relieved and happy.
After clearing my head and after working with everyone to get the new drafts for the storyboards, the music, the everything, I kind of realized that all my anxieties were just that, dumb anxieties. This was just a normal part of the creative process, and I was just being overly worried and overly fearful when I shouldn't have been, because I was working with so many amazingly talented people. But at this point, I also realized that I didn't have any time left to be worried or anxious about how this project was going to turn out, because Anime Expo was just 2 months away. And at this point, there was still a lot left to do. So there was just one thing that could be done. We just needed to finish it. So I've just gone here to the recording studio where we're going to be recording all of the music for today. Oh, I don't know why, but there's a lot more musicians here than I initially imagined. There were a fuck ton of musicians there, way more than what I was expecting, and I had this moment where I realized, oh, this is really happening. This feels real. Oh my god. Oh my.
They want you to say something at the end for everyone, probably. That's what I call it.
Oh. I'm not prepared for this. I have to say something. First of all, I want to say thank you very much for being a part of this project. This is a dream project of mine I've had ever since I was a kid. This is a story I wrote about being far away from home and finding what my home is. I grew up in many different countries, traveling around the world in many different places. And I use my experience to put that into a fantasy world and living in a world that feels completely different to our own. I was scared, I was a little bit nervous that, like what I experienced previously, I wasn't going to feel the emotions I thought I was going to feel in that moment. And I remember sitting down and just hearing them do a little snippet of their rehearsals. I instantly realized, oh, this is going to be an emotional day. Oh, it sounds so different when you hear it live.
Oh, well, that's an easy answer. I knew I had it when Garnt had a big fucking smile on his face. So yeah, it was, yeah, I knew we were going to be okay from there.
Okay, it's amazing.
Any technical understanding of music, not that I have much to begin with, but any technical understanding of music was pretty much gone at that moment. All I knew was I felt a lot of emotions, and it did not stop the entire day.
I swear at the end of the day I'm going to be tired from smiling. I cannot stop smiling today.
One thing I found funny though was just the dichotomy of Kevin's directing style when he has to direct and compose in Japanese. And then you get to the English side, gets an amazing take, and he's like, yeah, fucking great take, mate. I think we'll have that one.
Yeah, that was strong. Yeah. We got some nice shit in there.
So I've made it known to Kevin, and I've made it pretty known that one of my favorite tracks, and one of the tracks I was looking forward to the most, was the flute track, because obviously the flute was a sound that I'm very, very familiar with, and every time I go to Thailand, that is a sound that I always remember and hear.
Well, I've either just entered my grandma's house right now, or entered a Thai massage.
Nostalgic melodies are a funny one because they're new, but they need to conjure up memories kind of straight away. So you need to almost garner an associative memory with something even before you've actually heard it for, you know, more than one time.
Sometimes I watch a show and I can feel the sense of nostalgia for a memory that I didn't have or a life that I didn't live. But in this particular case, it was almost like rediscovering a memory that I didn't know was locked inside me. Re-remembering a part of my childhood that I'd forgotten. For just that brief instant, I felt just like a kid again, going back to my grandma's house. After the song got recorded, what was the first thing I did? Of course, I phoned my mum.
กิ๊กยังไม่ได้ถามอะไรเลยแม่
มันออกมาอย่างนี้จริงๆเหรอของ
ครับ
ลูกเราจริงๆเหรอทำ
ครั
มา
บ
ได้ขนาดนี้อ่ะใช่ไหม
ครับ
กิ๊กน้ำตาไหลคงจะคิดอย่างเงี้ยแล้วภูมิใจตัวเองอ่ะใช่ไหมครับ
โอ้ย
ที่มันมาถึงขั้นนี้
เหมือนเป็นความฝันเลยอะครับกิ๊กก็พูดไม่ออกเลยอะครับใช่
Cameraman Paul, who's filming the entire day, he listens to us and he's like, I don't know a single word of Thai, but I understood that 100%. I know what proud mom sounds like.
เดี๋ยวกิ๊กโทรหาแม่ตรงกิ๊กกลับบ้านนะครับโอเคครับ
โอเคครับบ๊ายบายลูก
ครับบ๊ายบายครับ
So I'm here at Studio Daisy, and they're going to show me some of the cuts that they've just finished. はい、お疲れ様です。
お疲れ様です。これは長があれですね、脱皮するカットですね。映像だとこのカメラがつけてこうグーッと上がっていくので。
I was so nervous about how it was going to look. This was something that we've worked so much on.
りんちゃんが走るところですね。普通走りでもこのパターンこのポーズとこのポーズしか描かない原画もあるので、まあ今回はちゃんと途中のポーズも全部原画にしてます。なのですごく大変。
I will say that Ohashi-san has taken my screenplay, what's seemingly line by line, and perfectly laid it out on screen. It's turned out the exact way I wanted it to.
プランは変わったんですけど、あれに関しては走って歩いて、歩いて走ってみたいなところの流れは綺麗に感情に乗っかれたので、結果的には良かったなと思ってます。良かったですよ。
And then we get to the voice acting session, and this was also surreal as fuck. So we were only given permission to record in the production booth, so unfortunately you don't get to see the recording booth, but you get to hear all of the performance.
ユーサニアでは200年に一度の歴史と奇跡があなたを待っています。
I didn't realize that the entire cast was going to be there in the room. Everyone was very polite, but I was very, very intimidated just to see this many talented voice actors in a room together. So I get to this voice recording session, and I just hear a live play-by-play script read from the entire cast, reciting everything perfectly. I didn't even know it was rehearsal. I thought we were recording.
意外といける。料理とかしたことなかったけど。ダメよ、座ってなさい。
Hearing their voices for the first time, and hearing the voices specifically while looking at the animation, just brought yet another extra quality to them that I didn't envision.
いいな、そういうの。私ももっと頑張んなきゃ。声優をやっておりますケンプロダクション所属の三河春菜です。そう？じゃあ飛んじゃうね。
So first off, I am really, really happy that Mikawa-san did such an amazing job portraying Rin. I just loved this natural quality to her voice that has the energy that I envisioned without sounding too over the top. When she says Sayo for the first time, I think she should almost sound like she's surprised that it's there just because there's so many rejections. I remember speaking to her, we all kind of like asked each other questions during the script read, and I was surprised actually about how much she actually related to Rin's character and her entire journey.
あとは私も香川から東京に出てきたっていうところで、東京がすごく私からすると未知の世界というか、本当に異世界と思ってて、こんなのがあるみたいな、あんなのがある、香川にはないこんなものがあるみたいな、みたいな、どんなみたいな、夢を叶えるために行くぞみたいな、なんかそのワクワク、お断りはなしでお願い。離れててもなんか心配する気持ちもあるし、で父からも多分心配されてるだろうなっていうのも分かりつつ、でも私は大丈夫だよ、だからお父さん自由に生きてっていう、なんかその大人にならなきゃいけないけどまだ自分は子供でもそこをこのままに しといちゃダメだみたいなっていう、なんかこの大人子供の境界の場所での葛藤っていうところがなんか今の自分とすごく通ずるところがあるなっていう、不安定ながらもなんか魅力がある子だなっていうのはすごくりんちゃんに感じましたね。
好きな時にいつでも帰っておいで。それじゃ。
In the original script, the last line was going to be Rin saying Tadaima. And I wanted to end on that line because I thought, this is it. This is the line that encapsulates what this story was about. And had a huge discussion with Hosaka-san and Ohashi-san about whether that should be the last line, because I had to trust in them because they said that's a very powerful line, but there might be a better way to end it that also fits in visually with the story that Ohashi-san wanted to tell in the storyboards. Just hearing Mikawa-san hit that last line. I knew Ohashi-san made the right choice because that line is stuck in my mind even to this day.
わざと古い言葉っていうんで、まあ、サンスクリット。
So there is a line where Daichi said, "Pay the far."
Pay the far.
And we flagged it up as what is his phrase? Because I assumed that Ohashi-san just wrote a fake phrase.
อ๋อ เปิดฝา อ๋อ อ๋อ เปิดฝา Okay. เปิด means open. ฝา means lid.
Again, I was adamant that I did want the Euthanians to not be speaking Thai. And eventually we came to the conclusion that we didn't need to change it because Thai being translated to Japanese via katakana, as I came to realize, was something that no Thai person was going to be able to recognize. So we kept that in as a little Easter egg.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. Garnt, nice to meet you.
But by far the most emotional moment for me was hearing the final song.
This one's gone through so many iterations, so I wanted to get it perfect.
This came out of just so much anxiety about whether this final song was going to hit.
Like I knew what I needed to achieve after the first version wasn't hitting exactly the right like kind of tone with Garnt.
What I would say is that we do a fake language based on Thai and Japanese pronunciations.
The ending song did have some intricacies, not just because of the fact that we're creating a lyrical language that didn't exist before.
I got on a call with Kevin and he was just like, just talk. just start talking in Thai and then I'll pick out some words.
I would avoid Guy. That means chicken in Thai.
Got it. Understood.
I met Sarah Alain, but she had done the vocals for Isabella's Lullaby. She's done the vocals for a few songs of Xenoblade, and I believe she grew up or was born in Australia.
I don't know. I mean, I try to say when I'm here, I say I'm from Australia. But what is Australian? And when I'm there, it's a multicultural country. But then you're not Australian enough. You're not white enough. But you're not Asian enough. You're not Japanese enough. You're not Australian enough. So there is no home for me. I live here.
The one thing I wanted reflected in this song was the feeling and excitement of coming home.
The first sort of like draft of that was way too upbeat and didn't speak to the emotionality.
I just wanted it to be perfect. I wanted it to convey the emotions of this entire short film. But the first time hearing that song is a moment I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. But hearing that song performed, I just couldn't stop thinking, yeah, this is it. I'm home.
That's pretty good.
Oh, this has been an emotional day, to say the least. I'm a little bit drained, not just because it's been 7 hours, but my emotions have been all over the place. But from my untrained ears, that went fucking great. Throughout this entire process, one thing I've learned is that I thought I knew who Rin and Daichi was. And then every person who has added a little bit of their own experience, their own skills, their own talents to Rin and Daichi has changed them little by little in the best way I can imagine. It's almost seeing like your babies grow up in real time to become different people than what you thought they would be, but you're still happy about the people they became. I'm getting a bit nervous now because there's not so many things left to do, and it's getting close to finish time. So we'll have to wait and see how the rest of the project goes. It is close to 3 AM right now, and I just received the final files for Baan, and I don't know. I watched them, and I've seen it so many times. I have, in these past 2 months, gone over every single frame, every voice line, every little detail you can possibly think of, and just now, I think it's just hit me. We had made the deadline. We had completed everything on time. And the only thing left to do was to tell the world about it. No pressure, right? Well, there it is, boys and girls. Beautiful, foggy Los Angeles. It is the morning of the biggest day of my career, I guess. But thankfully, the day that we planned to premiere it was on the first day of Anime Expo, which is great because if it was on a later day, I think I wouldn't have been able to do any of the work that I should have been doing. I don't think I've ever quite been as nervous as right now.
Not even for a wedding guard?
The biggest moments of my career is now scheduled and up. And, you know, I haven't really thought what people are going to think about this yet. I've been so engrossed in just getting this project done.
Doesn't the panel actually like end at 8:30 today?
Oh. Woo! Okay, that was a close one. The trailer is something that came in way later than what we expected, but we managed to get it in on time, right before we needed to premiere it in front of, I think, 2,000 people was what the capacity of that crowd was. I got asked to host the GeeXPlus panel, and everyone at GeeXPlus thought that that was the right decision. Welcome to the stage, Dylan Goo. Because I was announcing this project, and we were announcing a lot of different projects, I seemed to be the right person for the job. And I thought I was the right person for the job as well. This is not my first panel. I've run many panels. And one thing I was not expecting was how nervous I was going to be for this one panel. There was this moment where I turned up just a little bit early to this panel, and I just have a moment without having to rush, having to think about rushing to my next event, my next meetup, my next panel. And I just thought, 2 years of my life about to go public. I don't think it had truly hit me until that point just what this journey was going to lead to. And then when that happened, I start shitting it. My body. Why is it doing that? It's never done that before. Oh God. I'm not even sure it was nervousness. It was just, I think it just hit me, the gravity of what I'm about to do, what this means.
What?
So your husband is awfully nervous?
Yeah, I know.
Are you nervous?
Nope, I am totemo genki desu! Yeah, back shot! I should probably go talk to him.
Okay, all right.
Sometimes my mind says something and my logical part of my brain says that's bullshit, but the primal part of my brain says, no, you should listen to it. And right then, the primal part of my brain was screaming, what if people don't like this? What if 2 years of your life ended up a waste? What if this doesn't hit the same kind of excitement or reception that you think it's going to hit? And I remember going up on the panel and trying to professionally host it, but inside I was absolutely shitting bricks. And so we get up to the point where I have to announce it, and I'm so nervous that I actually skip a slide that we needed to go through. Outside of Trash Taste, I've actually been working on a little project for myself. Ooh. And I've been working on it for a while. And I don't know what else to say. Oh, before that, I completely forgot. The video starts, and I can't even begin to describe the emotions of what came next.
Has there ever been a line you wrote in one of your videos that ended up really sticking with you?
But if I had to pick one, there is one that still stands out to me. And it was a line I wrote when I was talking about Porter Robinson's Shelter. And I remember this line vividly, something along the lines of, this man has shown that you can live the weed dream. You can go out and make your own anime. All you need is fame, a shit ton of cash, an international music producer, backing from some anime studios and companies, and a great vision with a burning passion. Easy, right?
Baan, 大人の教会。
I'm making my own anime, guys. To the director of my anime, Yoshimitsu Ohashi.
実は僕アメリカに来たの2回目で、最初は37年前妻と結婚した時になりました。
Oh my god. Oh, come here.
You made me cry. You made me cry.
There you go. Let's get some of this. Yokatta.
You got pretty fucking emotional. Dude, you cried. I cried watching you cry.
I tried not to get emotional, but... Oh fuck, man.
I don't know how to, I know what to say.
Gigguk made a video called Taking My Next Step. I've heard the news. Apparently he's making his own anime.
I'm really impressed. Gigguk, congratulations, brother. Original work by Garnt. Dang, that's his last name?
โปรเจกต์อนิเมะแนวต่างโลกที่ประเทศไทยผสมญี่ปุ่นโดยคุณการมณีตะโพ
Seeing his name just make me so proud for him, man.
Child, it looks legit though.
Cinema. That looks expensive.
And you actually watch the trailer and realize that the studio behind the project is a genuine studio.
It looks really good, I gotta say. From an art animation standpoint, man.
Listen, Gigguk, he has the clout for it.
Once you get into the position of where you're finally releasing your own anime, that's when you know you've kind of made it.
Seeing everyone's reaction, just every single bit of anxiety you had just evaporated on the spot. And now I'm just excited to show the world the full product. And that's it. One more stage left. See you guys at the premiere. Well, we're here. Grant in my sunshine. Good. I'm not going to say that my movie is meant to be above John Wick, but I mean, that's what Grant in my sunshine is saying. How do I think the premiere is going to go? Well, I am nervous. I've done stuff like this many times in my life, including the panel where we announced this anime, but I don't know, this just feels different. Oh. I can't believe this is really happening. It's just all these seats just to see a little thing that I made. That's a lot of pressure. This is literally the meme of just like me showing up to my mom's funeral or something. Yeah. Showing up to the Baan premiere.
Those aren't Bessies.
Yeah, they're all Bessies.
What the fuck?
Normally, I get nerves before a show, but those are nerves because I have to perform. I am the show. In this case, I don't know if it's better or worse. I actually think it's worse because unlike me being the show is already finished. And I just have to sit there and watch and hope that people enjoy the show, which is a different kind of nervousness because I actually have time to think and notice things. I don't know how people are going to react. I don't know how I'm going to react. Normally when I'm nervous, a lot of my close friends and family will tell you that I'm constantly shuffling around. I can never sit still. Just sitting still is the worst thing I can possibly do when I'm really nervous before a show. I'm not actually sitting down today. I'll just be standing up the entire time.
How did you feel like when Garnt said, by the way, I'm going to make a movie?
The first thing I thought was about fucking time. Because if anyone in the space can make a good anime or animation, it's going to be that guy.
I'm expecting it to be beautiful because just from the snippet that we saw during AX, that trailer, it looked absolutely gorgeous. So I'm excited to see like 18 minutes of that, basically, however long this movie is.
Anything short of, I don't know, Chinatown, Goodfellas, Gone with the Wind, Ben-Hur, some contemporaries. As long as we match that quality, I'll walk away from this theater proud and impressed.
Great job, man. Really proud of you. Amazing accomplishment. I wish I could be as epic as you one day.
If Connor is late because he's getting popcorn,
oh my god,
I'ma fucking kill him.
Oh Jesus Christ.
I'ma kill him. Have I learned anything from making this anime? Well, making anime is fucking hard. I don't know if it fully hit me. I don't know if it has fully hit me, but I remember talking to my editor and he said one line that really put things in perspective for me. He told me that for everyone who worked on this project, this is their job. This is what they do for a living. For myself, I am doing this project, I have done this project on top of my regular job. And he said that's pretty fucking insane. And it kind of put things into perspective for me, because I realized that, not only have I sacrificed 2 years of my life to do this project on top of doing my regular job, I also paid money to go through this entire process, to experience this all. And yeah, I don't know if it's fully hit me. I don't know what to think about that. I've been told that only a crazy person would do what I've been doing. I'm just happy that I was able to finish this.
橋さんがプロ、緊張しない？緊張ないですか？
I think I've grown a deeper appreciation for anime, any anime, even for someone in my position. This project was a peculiar project that did not go through the normal channels that anime projects do go through. It was funded by mainly one person with a bit of help from GeeXPlus, and as a creator, as an outsider, someone who came in as a fan, I don't think there's been anyone in my position who's been able to have as much creative control over a project as I've had for this one. And yet, I still feel like there were so many things outside of my control. Because this project doesn't just represent me, it represents dozens upon dozens of people, all with different skill sets, different life experiences, all who've put a little bit of themselves into this project. I remember looking at the final credits, and even for a short project like this, it just blew my mind seeing all of the names of everyone who helped me turn my little vision into a reality. And I just thought, man, that's so fucking cool. Because it just made me truly realize, damn, anime, any anime, if it's actually completed, is a huge accomplishment. And if that anime ends up also being good, we should cherish it like a goddamn miracle.
最初にお話を伺ってた人生で夢だったことがこれでちゃんと思ってた形で叶ったぞって思ってもらえてるのであれば、それがなんか我々今回お受けした案件としてはすごく幸せなことだなと思うので、そうなってたらいいなというのが一旦 V 編を終えてのはい。
My mate made an anime, man. That's so cool. I'm unbelievably happy for him. I mean, he's done so well and he's put so much into this, and the fact that it's now come together and it's actually done, he is a fucking legend. So yeah, very, very proud of my friend.
Do I think people will like it? Well, I would be lying if I didn't hope that people did like it. I've thought about this a lot, and I know how much of an impact I can make with only 18 minutes. I think some people may watch this and not really vibe with this. I think some people may see this as a cool 18-minute video and then immediately forget about it when they click on the next one. I think there are some people who might not even finish it, and that's just the reality. But the reason I made this is if there is just a fraction of people who connect with just a little bit of what I've put into this, in the same way that I've had shows connect with me before that have inspired me, then it would have made every part of this process worth it.
Yes.
It's weird. I feel like I've been pretty personal to the public before as a YouTuber. You know, whether that be through my videos or me telling pretty personal and intimate stories through Trash Taste. But I don't think I've ever felt like I've laid myself out as bare as I have with this one project. To me, anime has always been a special type of conversation between the creator and the viewer. I've connected with shows, connected with characters, connected with certain scenes in a way that no amount of words would be able to convey. And this little 18-minute animation has communicated a part of me that I would never be able to achieve in all my years and thousands of hours doing YouTube. And to anyone who watches it, I'm just really fucking thankful that you gave a little bit of time just to see this little part of myself.
I'm a very long time fan. I think I have been watching his videos for like 15 years. So I really want to come to this and it aligned perfectly for me.
I was also excited that's like an isekai anime because he's known for liking that.
Yeah, I think he has a good sense for anime, so I bet he's written something great.
As soon as he posted something like on his Instagram, instantly I knew that it was just something worthwhile, even especially like on a Sunday where it's very busy.
I'm a big fan of Garnt and his channel, and my dad as well. And when we heard that he was hosting this premiere, we thought it'd be a good idea to go watch. So yeah.
Okay.
Now it's all over. Did you ever find out where your home was?
You did the same thing for me. You gave me a chance, so thank you, and I can't wait to see if we can make this bigger.
I felt your passion through the screen, and just in general, your passion is very inspiring. I feel inspired, basically.
I hope you do more big things in the future. I'm pretty sure you're gonna like surpass this at some point, and it will be even more amazing.
Very proud, and seeing like our daughter on screen like that, and just seeing like our story and everything. It's just, I'm very proud. I don't know what else to say. It looks gorgeous. It's perfect.
Mommy really proud of you.
Well done, Grant. That's your dream. It's our dream as well. Thank you for doing it for us.
When any of your friends succeed, it just fills you with the most intense amount of like celebration and enthusiasm.
I could cry. I don't like seeing Garnt sad. He looked like he about to cry like multiple times.
How do you feel about Garnt making an anime?
I'm sweaty.
I started sweating in my seat. Like it was not a sticky situation, but it was.
It definitely makes me want to write my own story, so I'm very inspired by it.
And I thought I saw something deeply personal. It was well crafted. It was an amazing piece of art.
I was not in a cult, I think, but I thought I was. That's why. Why am I saying this?
When I heard that he was making an anime, I literally like screamed when I saw that, because I was like, okay, this is someone who's done anime for such a long time, who's done a lot of reviews, who's done such a passion, and he's just very like craving for like the perfect anime. And this is his moment where he actually makes his own anime, so this is something really special.
I am so proud of you, Garnt. This is so inspiring. Literally leading by example on how to live your dream and conduct a passion project.
This is for your call.
What is this?
This is not for the video even.
Okay. Oh my god. Thank you. Oh my god, that's amazing.
You know the Shia LaBeouf meme in the cinemas?
Oh yeah.
Dude, that was cinema. That was fantastic.
You're a kissy little baby. I love you. I'm proud of you.
Thanks for being my best friend. Appreciate it.
I don't like seeing you sad and like almost crying because it makes me want to cry. So cut that out, bro. All right, done.
Congratulations, my friend. You really deserve it, and this is your moment. And to you and the staff, congratulations.
That's it, I'm out.
There ain't no way that it ends here. That is such a waste, and that is upsetting because we should put more in. I need to see more.